Everyone, my name is Sherry A Singh and today we are going to see the detailed analysis of GS paper 1 mock 1. आप संडे को गए, आपने टाइम स्पेयर किया and you attempted your mock. So before we get on to today's analysis of GS paper 1, we should know why is it important for us to attempt mocks, and also there are other important questions which should be there in your mind before you go for your preparation. Now let's try to analyze the importance of going for mock by the first question, why should I attempt mock? मैं mock attempt क्यों करूँ भाई? When I know history, when I know polity, I know geography, I know everything. I have attended my coaching classes, NCRTs I have gone through, I know everything. This is your feeling. Is it a reality or a myth? This thing will be busted when you will attempt your mock. What is mock? Nothing. It is questions, a bunch of questions, 100 questions which are being provided to you to gauge your level of preparation. कौन से questions आप ठीक करते हो, कौन से आप गलत करते हो, even if you attempt certain questions right. Why those questions are right? Is it merely because of guesswork or good luck? Because good luck may not help you in your prelims examination. So why should I attempt mock? The reason for that is to test whatever you have studied. Is it going to help you in your examination or not? Because our final goal is not to become a scholar. The real goal of studying is to crack prelims first. Then we'll move on to mains, and finally it is all about your personality test, and then you become an IAS officer. So the first cycle of complete civil services cycle is all about what? It is about prelims. So mock is very important to tell you where are you, at which level of preparation you are. Now you saw in your geography that you are lagging behind. You attempted the questions wrong. This means you should know why this thing happened. Now this technology, or statistically speaking, this is known as reverse engineering, that you have to go back, or backtracking. You have to go back to analyze why have you attempted this question wrong. And what about the right questions? You should be knowing why this question is right of yours or not. Correct? So mock gives you the real-time feeling of the examination beforehand, and Career Launcher is perfect in it. Then moving on to the second question is, how should I attempt it? Now, another way of attempting is that you do not go to the examination hall, or you do not sit in front of your laptops for 2 dedicated hours. You simply say, okay, so I'm going to skip this mock and then I'll take it from some friend. 2 hours I'll do it now, 2 hours I'll do it after घूम फिर के, and 3-4 hours के बाद मैं ये कर लूँ, वो कर लूँ, या मैं simply सिर्फ और सिर्फ analysis ही देख लूँगा या देख लूँगी, and I'm not going to attempt the paper. It is again going to be a fatal, or you can say a suicidal action of yours, because आपका 2 घंटे का GS paper 1 है, and if you are going to have the complete preparation before landing on to your prelims, the D-Day when it is going to come, it is going to give you an extra helping hand that will provide you a sort of confidence when you will be in your prelims. पहले से ही आपको पता है 2 घंटे बैठना होता है, 100 सवाल होते हैं. This will be the atmosphere. This will help you to control what? The paper pressure. This paper pressure or paper anxiety, it kills many students' capabilities and capacities. You see, you remember when we were in our schools, so many tests used to happen. 15 दिन के बाद, every fortnight there has to be a UT test, and first term, second term, third term, every time there has to be testing. So one subject was used to be, one topic or subject it used to be taught, and then we were being told now there is going to be your unitary test, monthly test, fortnightly test. That means testing is very important. But if you see the complete cycle of UPSC, if you see that, you see it begins with prelims. It begins, then it moves ahead with mains, and then finally it lands on to the personality test. Mains, the syllabus is quite a lot, बहुत ज़्यादा syllabus है, and this is the mains which finally takes you to your personality test. So this is an examination style. It is an yearly examination which takes 1 year for you to become an IAS officer. Now before this time, you have to prepare for it. Prepare, you have to study, as well as you have to go for your test. That is why it is important. Then for mains also, you need to prepare for it. And after mains, that will land onto your personality test. This is a different game altogether. But first of all, we have to focus on a prelims, because now prelims is round the corner, 2019. That's important. Then the third question will be, should I go for analysis or not? Yes, you should. Now, for 2 hours you sat, you have seen what kind of questions are going to come up. How am I going to handle them? Will I be able to crack certain questions or not? This is something which is very important, and this thing you will realize only when you will sit for 2 hours. Dedicated time you have to give. 2 hours to your paper. You have to do justice to yourself in order to say that UPSC will do finally justice with you. Then if I say, should I go for analysis? Yes, analysis will help you that how many questions you have done right, how many questions you have done wrong, and then you will say, वो तो paper भी आता है मेरे पास तो उसका answer है, why should I be watching it? The reason is, when you see questions and their answers, you simply read or you may not read. You feel that I'll do it after, procrastinate, I'll do it after 1 month or maybe next week or something like that. You will be procrastinating. But when you watch analysis, when you watch it, when faculty is speaking, some expert is there, those things will be embedded in your mind. You're already reading, but now somebody has come up to explain you the certain things. That means the interaction is increasing. It's very important. So it's very important to go for analysis, super important indeed, which I say that. Then when shall I start attempting questions? This is also the questions which has been asked by many students. मैं question कब करूँ? I'll complete the syllabus first, NCERT, this book, that book, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, one day, I will sit with complete fervor कि आज मुझे सवाल ठीक करने ही करने हैं. Now, this attempting question fervor can create some problem for you. It can be a challenge in itself, because it is the syllabus in itself is so large and so humongous. It's so lofty syllabus. You cannot complete it by saying I'll complete it within 15 days, 20 days, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Every time something or the other will be left. So whenever you complete any topic, start solving some small questions of it. This will give you a preparation for your mocks, and these mocks will finally give you a cakewalk for your prelims. Correct? Then inputs about GS paper 1, mock 1. Now, this was a very basic level paper. There was nothing very tough about it. Some questions were from current affairs, some were from ancient, so it was very normal paper for the while. But as the time will proceed, the mocks will also become difficult. The level will also become more challenging. That means we need to gird up our loins and we need to work really very hard in order to clear our prelims. So that's all about it. These 4-5 questions were the most asked questions by the students, that why should I be attempting mocks and should I be going for analysis or not, or analysis is useful or not. Analysis is definitely useful. What is analysis? You analyze about yourself. If you are not aware about your strengths and your weaknesses, it is little difficult for you to handle this complete cycle of examination, because it is not about prelims. कई बच्चों को लगता है कि once I qualify prelims, it's like कि मैंने bronze medal जीत लिया. अगर मैंने, if I have cleared my mains, it's like a silver medal. So this is not nothing such like that. Once you are an IS, either you are an IS or you are not. You have to complete cycle of civil services and of becoming an IS officer. So prelims is the foundation. It is the basic. And once we are strong in our foundation, I don't think that anybody can stop us. Getting on to today's analysis now. And if you have any queries related to any question of our mock or anywhere, you can very well share it with me at sherry.singh@careerlauncher.com. Okay. So getting on to the mock 1, paper 1, the first question in front of your screens goes as, the first question is, with reference to the religious practices in India, right? Taran Panth sect belongs to. What will you do with this question? What is your possibility to do justice with this question? क्या करेंगे आप? Now with this question, either you know or you don't know. Part of your art and architecture, you can also say it is about ancient, history and so on. So with the religious practices in India, Taran Panth sect belongs to what? Very factual one. Either you know or you don't. But the right option for this is Jainism. B for Bombay. Correct? Now, with reference to religious practices, even if you're not sure about this complete Jainism option B, you should see that is it associated with Taran Panth? No, it is not associated with Vaishnavism, and it is also not associated with Shaivism, not even Buddhism. Then it is finally Jainism. The detailed description has been given in your answer key that is there in front of you. It should be there. You must go through that. The factual information, it is there. Correct? So the first answer for this is B for Bombay. Proceeding. Which of the following are the abiotic components of the environment? I think it is your 6th standard NCERT. Abiotic components. So one are biotic components. What are biotic components? The ones which are living, those who are having life. If I try to explain it more clearly, this is biotic. Biotic would refer to something which is living, and abiotic will be the opposite of it. This is biotic. Abiotic is going to be the opposite of it. So we have to see those things which are not what? Living. That's the part of question. Every component of biotic and abiotic, when they combine together, they all form the part of ecosystem. Correct? So which of the following are the biotic or the abiotic components of the environment? Let's try to find out the biotic ones. It is non-green plants, symbionts and parasites. So your correct option is energy and radiation. They are basically non-living components of the environment or of any ecosystem. Therefore, your right option is A for apple. Very simple question. Nothing to be confused about. Okay. Question number 3. In recent years, Mount Fuego has been in the news for its regular volcanic eruptions. Consider the statements regarding the Mount Fuego. Okay, so the first statement, it is the highest mountain in Central America. It is joined with Acta-Ginago and collectively the complex is known as La Horqueta. Third is, it is a stratovolcano which builds up layer upon layer and finally explodes violently. So if we know about third option, if we know what is stratovolcano, then we can also get on to the right option. This is all about working on your options. Every time 100% you will not be clear about every option, right? Then you have to work on these options which are being given below, then only you can go for the right answer. So it is the highest mountain not in Central America. This is something which you have to remember. That is why the key role of revision come over here. It is in Guatemala. Correct? So this first statement is wrong, which says that it is in Central America. Yes, it is true. It is joined with Acta-Ginago and collectively the complex is known as La Horqueta. It is a stratovolcano which builds up layer upon layer and finally it explodes violently. In your answer key, we have also provided you with the picture of it, but I want you to understand clearly what is a stratovolcano. So the right option for this is A for apple. बिल्कुल सही है. E for apple is the right one. Let's have a look about your stratovolcano. Volcano, role of volcano very important in triggering tsunami as well as earthquake. The basic concepts of geography should be clear to us. What is strata? Strata means 1, 2, 3 and so on, the layers. So strata means layers upon layers. एक लेयर के ऊपर दूसरी तीसरी चौथी. You know, we say prior to French Revolution, the society of France, it was divided in certain strata. This word has been also mentioned in your NCRTs, which says first state, second state, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. So that means it was a stratified society, and this structure is also a bit crude structure that we have created just to understand. It is also stratified. That means strata would refer to layers, which has been though mentioned very clearly over here, but I want you to have more understanding about it. Now this is one layer, then this becomes another layer, then this becomes another layer. So layers upon layers, when certain thing is created or a mount has been created, this is a stratified mount, and when it is a volcanic mount, it becomes a volcano, correct? And once different layers, they will have a different composition, and if there is going to be any eruption, it will be a violent eruption. Violent eruption matlab it will burst. The ashes and other material, it will come out with a huge amount of burst, and it will also get deposited closer to the volcanic eruption area, right? It has been also mentioned steam and ash in the answer key that you are having. So this is the part of your understanding that strata by strata, it becomes stratovolcano. I hope things are clear. Honi bhi chahiye. Okay, so question number 4. Which of the following observation or observations is a true regarding the performance of Indian economy in recent times? Performance of Indian economy in recent times, आप कहाँ से पता करोगे, कैसे पता करोगे? The first source is your newspaper, current affairs. Every day current affairs is coming up, and please do not go by that kind of idea that I'll accumulate all month's newspaper, then at the end of the month I'll do it. It is going to drain your energy, because current affairs is also very monotonous, it is very boring. And what do you think that why newspaper ones, they give you newspaper daily? Because it is current, it has to be done on daily basis. They can also compile the complete newspaper and the information, and they can give you towards the end of 1 month, or maybe they can provide you after 1 year. No, the purpose itself is defeated when you do not go for your current affairs on your daily basis. Current affairs, your newspaper has to be done on daily basis. So for strengthening your Indian economy, one source is your newspaper, and your another source can be your NCRTs or other books if you are referring to. But this information has been from your economic survey, and economic survey is also one of the most authentic sources for strengthening up your Indian economy part. It is of the government document. That means you have to be very careful about it, and very carefully crafted document. It is one of the most intellectual sarkari document which do we have in front of us. So do not say कि मैं इसकी वो छोटी सी वो booklet ले आऊँगा and then I'll do it. No, you have to do it from the original source. If you've been very clear about it, which of the following observations is a true regarding? Then household savings have gone up? No. Private investments have gone up. What do you have any idea about it? No. So D for doctor is the right option. That is neither 1 nor 2. And the correct explanation, the exact data has been given in your answer key. Factual information, Brazzaville declaration recently seen in news was signed for. Simple, very clear, A for apple is the right option. It is about conservation of the largest tropical peatland in Congo Basin. So when I talk about Congo Basin, when I talk about Amazon, when I talk about this area, 0 degree equator, 0 degree 10 north, 10 degree south, what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the areas which are rich in flora and fauna and vegetation. We all know about it. 0 degree equator, ample amount of sunlight, ample amount of rainfall, and all these are contributory factors for the rich growth of flora and fauna. And this epiphytes are very common. Arboreal adaptation is that if this is one tree, this marker is not working. If this is one tree, let's say this is another tree, and then I'm drawing this big giant tree. Obviously they'll all be having some branches. Assume it. It's simply a crude diagram to understand. So arboreal adaptation would refer to that a monkey, let's say, it will not walk on the ground because the ground surface in equatorial rainforest or maybe in the Amazon, in the Congo basin, they are full of vegetation growth. So it's not so possible to walk. There is some growth over here as well. Because there is no penetration of direct sunlight to the ground, therefore there is also the formation of algae. The ground floor is not clear. So nature has given everyone to adapt to or adopt to according to the situation where it has been living. Therefore, arboreal adaptation would refer to moving, jumping from one place to another. But this is the mode of transporting yourself from one place to another, not walking on the ground. This is known as arboreal adaptation. And there is also the growth of epiphytes. Right? Yes, so we should be very much clear about largest tropical peatland in Congo basin. Next question. With reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following statements. Most of the paintings seen in Ajanta caves date back to the period of Mahayana sect of Buddhism. Second statement, most of the rock paintings seen in Ellora date back to the period of sect of Digambra sect of Jainism. So all of those who have gone through their NCRTs very carefully and also in the testing format, that after reading one NCRT, it is advisable that you also test yourself through certain questions. We are also having some modular test paper. Try to attempt those questions as well. So when you attempt more number of questions, it gives you an insight and it provides you help that how will you handle more questions if they are related with the topic. Language will be changed, some structure of the questions will be same, but the source would remain the same. तो आपको source तो वही करना है. NCRT सदियों से NCRT चलती आ रही है. Everybody is saying NCRT, but why is it so? Year on year, civil services is becoming tough because the kind of questions which are being asked, they are becoming more challenging to understand and to handle. This question is very simple. The first statement, most of the paintings seen in Ajanta caves date back to the period of Mahayana sect of Buddhism. Very right statement, it says that. And most of the rock paintings seen in Ellora date back to the period of sect of Digambra sect of Jainism. No, not only of Jainism. It also includes certain series of Lord Vishnu, and further it also illustrates some of the series of Lord Shiva. Am I okay with it? So the first statement is correct. Therefore, this option says as A for apple is the right option. Important for us to know. So can you analyze one thing, that through these questions you are also learning your NCRTs? You would have left one topic thinking on your own or knowing by your friends it is important or not important, but once you see that this can become the part of question, then you become more aware and cautious about your preparation. Okay, so consider the following statements regarding Indian Constitution. The objectives of Constitution are revealed by preamble are justice, liberty, equality, secularism, sovereignty, socialism and fraternity. The Constitution of India derives its authority from preamble. The preamble of Indian Constitution is non-justiciable, and the last statement says the basic features of the Indian Constitution can be altered on the grounds of exigencies. Now I assume that you do not remember anything about statement number 1. हम पेपर में गए, we went to the examination, सब भूल गए, we forgot. Okay, now I have to attempt this question because I have read it somewhere. वैसे तो नहीं हो सकता, we can leave the question. The Constitution of India derives its authority from preamble. Is it possible? Can you say this thing can happen? No, it is not, because the Constitution of India derives its authority from the people. We, the people of India, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. We, the people of India, do hereby adopt, enact and give ourselves this Constitution. So people, the masses of the country, they are the source of the Constitution. The preamble, now it means that second statement is wrong. D option, D for doctor, is out, right? And we are still confused with the first option. Then we say the preamble of Indian Constitution is non-justiciable. This is something which you should be knowing. And the fourth option says the basic features of Indian Constitution can be altered on the grounds of exigencies. I will not be discussing the important cases today, but later on we will be. Basic features of Indian Constitution, they cannot be altered. Basic structure, very important. Keshwanand Bharti case. Certain parts in our constitution are been given as what? Touch me not status. You cannot alter them. Right? Basic structure. Judicial review is the part of basic structure. That means this statement also is wrong. So fourth statement is wrong. That means the first option is again out. D for doctor is also out. We are left with B for Bombay and C for CAT. Now, third statement is 100% correct, that the preamble of Indian Constitution is non-justiciable. And the first question, the framing itself is wrong. Otherwise, every word that's been mentioned in the preamble, the framing of the statement in itself is wrong. Therefore, the first option is also wrong. And we will say that B for Bombay for the seventh option is the right option. Seventh question has been done. Okay, its question says, which of the following sectors has the highest share of percentage in total workforce in post-liberalization of India? Ab kya karein? It's a very factual question. Like in perhaps in 2011, there was one question about 8 core sectors. You have to know them. You cannot do anything. There can be no guesswork. But still, with our intellect, if we have prepared so much, try to analyze this question. Which are going to see following sectors has the highest share of percentage in total workforce. Unemployment is there in our country. So if we try to say financial services, it is like tier 3 sort of employment, that financial services will be provided by the people, those who are well educated. If there is more of education, there is more of training, highly skilled people, they come into the financial services. And India is still not a services driven economy. Still we are not. Education, no. Hotels and restaurant again form the part of some sort of services, and when we are not a services driven economy, this thing can also be ruled out. I'm not saying that because it is obviously construction is A for apple is the right option. This is how you have to work on your options B, C, D, and then you will derive the right answer. When you will see your examination for complete 1 hour, you will feel certain questions you know in your prelims, not about the mocks I'm speaking. Certain questions will be 100% you are knowing, and certain questions will be fall flat. कुछ नहीं आता, इधर देख लिया, नीचे देख लिया, उधर देख लिया. No, इधर उधर मत देखो. Work on your questions. You have to work on them because sources are same. Fine. So A for apple is the right option. The term Windrush generation, quite often seen in the news, it is associated with, it's a very simple one, though you have to simple remember it. It is all about, you know, because these days migration has been often discussed, so it has been crafted in that manner. A for apple, that people arriving in the UK between 1948 to 1971 from Caribbean countries have been labelled as Windrush generation. Why? That small information, factual information has been given to you. Okay, so question number 9. Which among the following events happened the earliest? Abhi thoda sa mushkil question, it's a little bit challenging question because you should also be knowing what you can remember and what you cannot and what you should remember. Not every date is important for us to remember, but those things that carry significance with reference to our freedom struggle, reformation movement in our country, those things we have to remember. Raja Ram Mohan Roy established Brahmo Samaj at Calcutta in approximately 1828. Swami Vivekanand participated at the Parliament of Religions held in Chicago in, I think, 1893, if I'm not wrong. Then Raja Ram Mohan Roy founded the Hindu College, now Presidency College, Calcutta, along with David Hare. It is in 1870. And statutory civil services was established exclusively for Indians. Very important date, 1878. Right? So this is how you have to see the things, and right option goes as, we have to see which happened earliest was C for cat. 1817 was the earliest part. Any doubt? You have to remember. So now comes your role of revision. क्यों मैं बार बार रिवाइज करूँ, मैं कैसे रिवाइज करूँ? You have to revise through your testing format. You're reading the same book, NCRTs 5 times, 10 times. I don't know you. Do you want to make that Guinness Book of World Record के भाई मैंने ये जो पढ़ा है ये मैंने 12 बार पढ़ ली है, 1200 बार NCRT पढ़ ली है. भाई ये कोई नहीं पूछने वाला. Nobody is going to ask you that how many times you have done your NCRTs. And NCRTs are not like NASA missile. They are very normal, simple books. They're designed for basic understanding. What is the problem in it? Read it once. Read it twice, and third time you will come to know about it, and start doing it with your, most of the times, start preparing it with your questions. Again and again I'm saying questions. अब आ गया जी आपका current affairs. Qingdao Declaration has been adopted by member countries of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It was in news. Shanghai Cooperation Organization, your newspaper, the editorial page and the op-ed page of the Hindu newspaper or the Indian Express or any one which you like, you have to take it very seriously. Which among the following countries are not the members in the SCO? रशिया के बारे में बात करें थोड़ी सी. क्या है रशिया? कजाकिस्तान, किर्गिस्तान, रशिया, उज्बेकिस्तान, चाइना. Do you remember about India and Pakistan? India and Pakistan, they are now the members of SCO. So third statement, wherever 3 is mentioned, it is wrong, and Russia is already the part of it. 3 and 4, wherever they are, you have to take them out. So first statement also is carrying 3 and 4. Second statement, it is not carrying 3 and 4. C statement, again 3 and 4 it is carrying. And the last statement is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. सारी है, सारी नहीं है इसमें. Do you think it can be the right option? What do you think about it? So, what can be the right option for this? Simple. India and Pakistan have recently become the members of SCO. So 3 and 4, by just knowing 2 facts, that Russia is part of it and now Pakistan and India, they are part of it, you can get on to the right option, that is B for Bombay. Proceeding, we can see the question. Polity. NCRT again should be very handy for you, and the question says, what does secularism mean in the context of India? What do you mean by secularism? Secularism. I am secular country. I belong to secular nation. Is Pakistan secular? That's a question for you. You have to answer me at my email ID, that is sherry.singh@careerlauncher.com. So is Pakistan secular or not? That's a question which I am leaving, and if not, this time I am going to discuss. In the next mock I will discuss it surely. So secularism means, in our country, this means that generally in normal days, state will not interfere in the personal matter of any individual. I belong to Islam, I belong to other religion, any religion, I'm a Hindu, I'm Sikh, I'm Christian, I'm from Muslim, or I'm anything. State has nothing to do with it. But if any religion in our country, it is going to be under threat, then state will come to protect it. Plus, this protection is like a positive one, it is not going to negative one, and state will not promote any religion. One thing is clear, that state has nothing to do with the personal sphere of a person's life, and religion is a very core affair of any person. I belong to one religion, I am a Christian. I don't think that it should have any problem to the state. State will not say, you should not be a Christian now, you get converted to this religion or you get converted to this religion. Because of secularism, which has been mentioned in our constitution very clearly, that is why nowadays I am now going to integrate it with the current affairs part, the role of cow vigilance or the Gau Rakshaks, it is under critical pen of many of the authors. How come these so-called Gau Rakshaks or the cow vigilance, they are heading towards each day mob lynching? Now you can get some question about mob violence in your mains examination. This is how you have to integrate your prelims and mains preparation. No book, nobody else can tell you apart from the experts, those who are working on it. Right? Okay. So right option is A for apple. What does secularism mean in the context of India? The state has nothing to do with the religion. Clear? Yes. This is very simple and a factual question which is there in front of us. The Governing Council of Niti Aayog comprises of whom among the following? Leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Chief Ministers of all the states and union territories with legislatures, 5 union ministers as ex officio members and 3 union ministers as special invitees. थोड़ा सा हम सोचेंगे, थोड़ा सा हमने याद किया होगा इसे, हमें क्या लगता है क्या इसका आंसर हो सकता है? So very simple, you have to, if you do not remember the facts, you have to see your answer key, the analysis part. It is B for Bombay, which is the right answer. Traditional theatre. So we have traditional theatre, we have folk songs, we have folk music, and then we have classical songs and classical music as well. Classical songs or the dances to perform, they are very difficult to do that. Folk is all about how people express. So every state has its own folk culture, folk song, folk music, folk dance, and also the folk theatre. So this is the traditional theatre of certain areas that you have to see. Krishnattam is from Andhra Pradesh, Therukutu, Tamil Nadu, Bhavana, Assam, Nautanki, Madhya Pradesh. Nautanki is very easy to remember, so I am going to start with it. Nautanki is basically the part of UP, and generally we say, "Arey Nautanki mat karo bhai." Kyun kar rahe ho Nautanki? Nautanki mat karo. Nautanki, though now it has become the part of our daily usage, but Nautanki is a traditional theatre of Uttar Pradesh. Natak, from Natak, playing dramas, it becomes Nautanki. So this is from UP. Anywhere where we see 4, it's over, out. We have to see correctly matched? Yes, we have to see the ones which are correctly matched. Proceeding Krishnattam, 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 Kerala, not Andhra Pradesh. So Krishnattam is from Kerala. It's not working. We'll see to it. Okay, so the first statement is also wrong. It is from Kerala. The first statement is wrong. So what can be the right option now? The right option with in front of us, if first is wrong, fourth is wrong, B for Bombay is the only right option which has been left with us. So K for Krishnattam, K for Kerala, Therukuti, T, Tamil Nadu, Bhavana, they are traditional theatres. They are not dances and music, do not get confused into it. Theatres, performance, natak, art, right? Okay. So with reference to National Testing Agency, consider the following statements. These are the questions which do come up from your India yearbook. मैं पढ़ूँ इंडिया बुक के छोड़ दूँ कि वो छोटी सी उसकी बुकलेट ले आऊँ या मैं कुछ करूँ ना, अरे कोई सवाल तो आता नहीं, सवाल can come at any given point of time. Do not take any book by thinking that this book is of very bulky, it's boring, मैं छोड़ दूँ. If you want to quit civil services, do not quit any book. Ultimately तो बाहर हो ही जाओगे आप. But you have to give your 100% by working hard. Working hard would refer to go through every book, go through every important content, and also then go for your testing. Again, I'm saying testing. It will become my cliched statement in the coming days as well. Okay, so with reference to the National Testing Agency, right? Union Cabinet approved the creation of National Testing Agency as a society registered under Indian Society Registration Act 1890. Second statement says the NTA will be chaired by an eminent educationist appointed by the President of India, and the NTA will take over all examinations from CBSE except 10th and 12th board examinations. Which of the following given above are not correct? They are wrong ones we have to choose, and which are the wrong statements, they will become the right option. First statement is wrong. It is not 1890 because it is, we have to see 1860. And it is not basically the President of India, it is basically the Ministry of Human Resource and Development. And yes, so third statement is correct, but we have to choose which of the following is not correct. Then we will say A for apple is the right option. Simple, you have to remember. Every agency, ministry, which ministry is doing what, under whose aegis, that's been mentioned in your India book. Question number 16, which is saying that, again, NCERT, with reference to the differences between early Vedic period and later Vedic period, which of the following statements are correct? Gods like Prajapati, Prajapati is the one who is going to create. Vishnu and Rudra is the destroyer, were prominent during early Vedic period, where gods like Indra and Agni were prominent during later Vedic period. The statement is itself 100% wrong. The words have been confused with it. So gods like Prajapati, Vishnu and Rudra, they were prominent during later Vedic period, not during early Vedic period. So this statement is wrong. Rig Vedic Aryans were pastoral people and their main occupation was cattle rearing, whereas iron was used extensively at the time of what? In later Vedic period, to bring more land under cultivation. Is it right or wrong? Iron. Iron was used extensively in later Vedic period. Sabha and Samiti were not existed during early Vedic period, whereas Sabha and Samiti were prominent during later Vedic period. So Sabha and Samiti, yes, it is true, they were prominent at the time of later Vedic period, but we cannot say that they never existed in early Vedic period. Right? So Sabha and Samiti were not existent during early Vedic period, whereas Sabha and Samiti were prominent during later Vedic period. This is wrong statement. Sabha and Samiti, they were not so prominent in later Vedic period. There was their presence, but they were prominent at the time of early Vedic period. So B for Bombay is the right option. Bit confusing, no? Statements were like that, but we have to do it. We cannot say anything about it. Question number 17 stands as, consider the following statements regarding Constituent Assembly of India. You can get some questions about certain very important personalities like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel these days, Statue of Unity. So Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the chairman of the Committee on Tribal and Excluded Areas. Jawaharlal Nehru was the chairman of the Committee of Fundamental Rights and Union Constitution Committee. Third statement says all provisions of Constitution were brought into effect on Jan 26, 1950. Not all, some. These are known as extreme keywords. So whenever you encounter any extreme keyword like always, only, this is just, must, that means these are the extreme words. Give a check to them. So there was some provision of Constitution which were being brought into effect on 26 Jan 1950. Yes, the fourth statement, if you try to see, is been given. You have to negate the third statement. So option B is over, option D is over, and the left options are A and C. When you see them, you can see that 4 is available even if you are not aware about it. That means there was no female member in the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly. This is the right option. If this is right, one thing is also clear, that number 1 is also correct. Now Jawaharlal Nehru, he was not the chairman of the Committee of Fundamental Rights. It was again Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. C for CLAT is your right option. I hope things are clear to us, right? So when you know about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, every question associated with his personality, and especially about your Statue of Unity, size of Statue of Unity, it's of the tallest statue, and every important other associated thing, you have to go about the committees that he held and other important aspects of his complete journey of Indian freedom struggle should be there in your notebook. Now this is, I call it as a box item information, that you have to make a box item of it. Articulation of things is very important. Knowing things is different. Articulating them, creating a note of it, and creating notes of only those things which are very important to us. It is very important to see. Not everything should be there that I have to make notes of it. हर एक चीज़ का notes नहीं बनाना है. Certain things you have to make note of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and every important thing of his personality or anything which is associated with him. You should be well aware about it. These assemblies, these committees, everything should be there in your notebook. Create one small size box item, paste it where you're making your current affairs notes. आइए चलते हैं, आगे चलते हैं. Which among the following are the factors that govern the biome distribution in the world? Annual variation of temperature, amount of rainfall, wind, topography. Annual amount of temperature or variation of temperature or of rainfall. So these are the important parts or the aspects that create biomes. What is biome? Biome is constituent of everything. There is life, there is flora, fauna, everything is there. So when we say the first thing comes as, the first thing that we have to see is about rainfall. Second is temperature. Third is topography. And this temperature is been by sunlight, soil. Understand. Rainfall has to be there. There has to be adequate amount of temperature. Neither too cold, not very hot temperature. This should not be there. There has to be some sort of optimum temperature that will give you more of diversity. Topography. Sunlight. Adequate sunlight. Now, if you try to see which among the following are the factors that govern the biome distribution in the world, you will see that annual variation of temperature, where there are more temperature or where there is optimum temperature for life to survive. Yes, amount of rainfall. Yes, amount of rainfall has to be there. Wind. What is wind? Wind is nothing. It is the horizontal movement of air. Advection. Convection is the vertical movement. Wind is the horizontal movement. No, nothing. So wind, yes, it is a factor, but it is a factor later on. The primary factor which govern the biome distribution, they are these. Sunlight, adequate, ample amount of sunlight. If there is no sunlight, in the absence of sunlight, there is one condition which is known as permafrost. So this is not going to be rich in biodiversity. Topography, it has to be suitable topography. Right? This distribution of soil, the pedagogy should also be right. Why is it higher the sign of latitude, lower is the biodiversity, lower the sign of latitude, higher is the biodiversity? Confusing statement. Again, I will make higher the sign of latitude, lower is the biodiversity, lower the sign of latitude, higher is the biodiversity. If I am at 80 degree north, 90 degree north, I am making a comparison with 0 degree to 10 degree, and maybe we can move up to the tropics. Lower the sign of latitude, lower the sign of latitude, higher is the biodiversity. This is the rich area on earth, on planet earth, of biodiversity, flora, fauna, everything is there. Higher the sign of latitude, higher you are moving, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, the biodiversity, it keeps on reducing. By the time you reach here, you come across a situation which is known as permafrost. Good. So right option is, which option can be? Wind is not there. So the right option is B for Bombay, that is 1 and 4. Now at equator you will say there is, yes, high temperature, but that high temperature is already being compensated by something which is known as convectional rainfall. adequate, ample sunlight, convectional rainfall. So rainfall is also there. But if we see in desert areas, there is sunlight, but precipitation is less. Evaporation is more. So soil is not very fertile. Rather, it gives us what? Sandy situation. There is sand. Soil is different. Good? It should be. I hope things must be very clear to you guys, because once the concepts are clear, we have seen our 18th. We have seen to it. I think I have marked it wrong. The 18th question, it is basically C for cat. It is 1 and 2. 1 and 2. It is the wrong option that I have marked. Topography would refer to the gradients and everything. It is also the part of it, but not the primary part. So over here, the primary factors are being asked. So 1 and 2 is the right option. Since it's not been given as 1, 2 and 4. Had it been given 1, 2 and 4, we would have marked it, but it's not been given. Therefore, the right option is C for cat. That is 1 and 2. All these factors that we have seen, they decide finally the topography. Question number 19 says that Puchampalli Ikat is from Tamil Nadu, Bhavani Jamakalan is from Telangana, Sri Kalahasti Kalamkari, Andhra Pradesh. There was one prelims question about Kalamkari in perhaps 2015 prelims. 19th A is the right option. Andhra Pradesh, these two you have to change. At the place of Tamil Nadu, there has to be Telangana. At the place of Telangana, there has to be Tamil Nadu. So, which of the following statements are correct regarding Sufism? Sufism is like a sect where people, they enjoy life, they believe in God by singing, and they also believe primarily in unity of all the religions and in the unification of everybody. There is nobody who is higher, there is nobody who is lower, everyone is equal. So which of the following statements or statement is correct regarding Sufism? They believed in essential unity of all religions. That was their core point. Essential unity of all religions. Yes, 100%. It is not an extreme statement because it is belonging to one section. That was their school of thought. Sufism, it is a school of thought of Islam which says that, okay, fine, everybody is completely one. They praised spirituality through music and doctrines that professed union with God. So they believed only in one God and they believed in union with God. Sufism originated in Iran and found a congenial, that is very amicable, friendly atmosphere in India under Turkish rule. So what you can say is that D for doctor is the right option. Good? It has to be. Again, your NCERT. Which of the following are viral diseases caused by virus? Not bacteria, but by virus. Kala Azar, malaria, they are not caused by virus. Dengue is caused by virus. Japanese encephalitis is caused by virus. That means they are viral. TB, that is tuberculosis, is caused by bacteria. Right? This filaria, I suppose it's been caused by some protozoa perhaps, but it is 100% not caused by virus. So right option will be your 1. That has to be there, and D, these are the ones which are caused by virus. So there are what? They are viral infections. 1 and 4, Japanese encephalitis and dengue. Bacteria causes different type of diseases, so we have to be careful about it. Okay, which of the following are the liberal intellectual principles that are reflected in the directive principles of state policy? So directive principles of state policies are directive principles which are being given to the state that you have to follow it. Directive principles of state policy. Since it is the first class, therefore I'll be taking certain basic things as well. First, mock analysis. D, P, S, P. Directive principles, since they are the directions, that means that whenever the time will be conducive and state will have enough resources, state's responsibility will become to implement these DP, SP. Because it was not possible to implement every thing at one go because of the limitation of resources and other things. Therefore, it was said that we are going to give you directives which should later on become the core part of the jurisdiction of your state for your governance as well. So that is why directive principles of state policies, they are not fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are different, right? Okay, so securing for citizens of India a uniform civil code, organizing agriculture and animal husbandry on modern scientific lines. So which ones are liberal and intellectual? This we have to see. Prohibiting slaughter of cows and other milch and draught cattle and improving their breeds. It's not like liberal intellectual, it's more like Gandhian. Non-violence. Promoting educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society, it's again more welfare oriented. Liberal intellectual will be the ones which are more of progressive ideas. So according to the options that are there with us, we have to see this, that the right option goes as 1 and 2, that is B for Bombay. Correct? Promoting educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society and protecting them from social injustice and exploitation is not liberal or intellectual, but the ones first and 2 that we have seen, they are the form of liberal and intellectual. Consider the following statements regarding the National Digital Library of India. National Digital Library of India. The library will be available for everyone. It is going to be in the digital format. We are proceeding towards Digital India and the BharatNet is provided. So what we are trying to say, we are trying to connect to the internet. We are also having a communication satellite. So it is a project of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and in collaboration with Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. NDL is a single window platform that collects, collates and metadata from premier learning institutions in India and abroad as well as other relevant sources. This statement is 100% correct. National Digital Library, right, of India is developed by IIT Bombay. We have to choose which of the statement given above are not correct. That means they are wrong. Option is E for apple. 1 and 3, they are the wrong ones because second statement is 100% correct. So when second is correct, we know about it. It is A for apple, which is 100%, the option which has been left out. So even if you remember 1 point, you're not able to memorize each and everything, but you are able to remember certain 1 point of any information. That means that you can very well get on to the right option. So right option says is, which was the right option? A for apple is the right option. IIT Kharagpur is basically promoting it, not IIT Bombay. During the ancient India, the designation Rajukas was known for what? Mauryan administration. It is a part of Mauryan times. So Rajukas is basically holding the charge of district administration whose position and functions are similar to modern collectors. तो जब आप IAS बन जाएंगे, IAS बनने के बाद आप modern era के राजुकाज होंगे. Mauryan Empire and Mauryan administration has been very popular and famous for its administration especially, which has been also mentioned in Indica, which has been written by Megasthenes. Consider the following statements. Neutrino is the most abundant known particle in the universe. Science and Technology, which has been there in your newspaper every now and then. It is not the most abundant known particle. Neutrinos are essential for understanding the nuclear reactions involved in fusion which powers the star. Most abundant one is the photon. It is the second most abundant, and yes, they are very essential in knowing for the formation of stars, that how stars are being formed. Therefore, B for Bombay is your right option. Correct? I would like you to see the next question just for a while. Can you see this question? Is it clear? We will see that we have covered some papyri of so many, maybe a basket of so many questions, where we have also covered, ancient for the while till the time we have reached to question number 26. We have covered some part of art and architecture, where we have talked about what we have seen, the traditional theatre, and we have also covered other parts of current affairs. We have seen geography as well. So just within 26 questions, we have seen these many things. And also for our current affairs, we have seen the importance of India book as well as of our daily news paper. Now if we talk about 26th question number, which says, where I asked you to see this question, the Reserve Bank of India regulates the commercial banks in the matters of which of the following? Liquidity of asset, kitna asset rahega banks ke paas, RBI, because these days the autonomy, the question of RBI, the power of RBI was there in news because there was one conflict between center and the Central Bank of India. And we also say that much of the articles on editorial page, editorials, they're coming up, they're saying that the resignation of Mr. Urjit Patel is also can be contributed or attributed to the conflict between which was there between RBI and center. So autonomy, where RBI is seeking more autonomy, so these things are into news, so we can expect certain questions about it. About the RBI Act of 1934 can be there. Okay, so expansion of branches would refer to two other areas. More and more there has to be banking penetration. More branches would lead to what? Inclusive growth. Role of money lenders, local shahukar khatam ho jayega. More of banking, more of inclusion. Merger of banks. I'm a weak bank, you're a strong bank. Merger. You have brought me together. Winding of banks. This bank is good for nothing. Wind it up. Or it is having high amount of NPAs. We are also having these days these terms which come up, bad loans, and as well as we have bad banks. We are thinking of bad banks as well. These words, they come up in your newspaper and can be asked in your examination as well. So D for doctor is the right option. Everything is under the purview of RBI of India, under the Act of RBI Act of 1934. So we have just scrolled a little bit faster. United States of America under Mr. Donald Trump has been very whimsical these days, and because Mr. Trump is going in such a manner, either you follow my rules or I will not play the game. Ya to meri baat mano. You know, when we were kids, there used to be certain friends of ours, those who either you have to accept their thing or they used to cry and they used to leave the game. This is the attitude of Mr. Donald Trump these days. So if he feels that things are not going the way he wants to, he quits that organization and maybe he ends that game. So United States of America has announced that it was withdrawing from United Nations Human Rights Council. Consider the following statements regarding the UNHCR. Now this question, I call it to be very factual. This you have to read it from your answer key. In these factual questions, you cannot do anything, but when you write on your mains question, these part, they become give you the content for your GS paper 2 as well, where you have international relations. Now, era of Mr. Donald Trump is very important to understand because he has created new world, and some people say, are we going back to the era of Cold War? Because nowadays we are having what? Tariff war, which was there between China and which country? USA. So these things, this is known as interlinking every concept. You can see with one information we have interlinked so much. Okay, getting on to this question that we have to see. B for Bombay is the right option. 2 and 4. The Human Rights Council is an intergovernmental body. Yes, that's very correct. And fourth option is very right. The Human Rights Council replaced the former United Nations. This statement is 100% correct. So 27 stands as B for Bombay. If you find any doubt anywhere, you can simply share it with me. Consider the following statements regarding Mahayana sect of Buddhism. Mahayana sect favored Pali language. They favored Sanskrit. They believed in idol worship. Yes. They sought salvation through self-discipline and meditation. No, it is not for Mahayana. It is not at all. Therefore, the right option, we have to see the correct option. Yes, then the correct option is which one? They believed in idol worship. this is A for apple. 28 stands as A for apple. 29th question says, now this question is self-explanatory. They will give you explanation and then you will be choosing the right option. आपको ये पता होना चाहिए, नहीं पता तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन एक आधा कीवर्ड you have to remember. So whenever you read anything, whenever you revise anything, कुछ भी आप करते हैं तो important part आ जाता है. बार बार I am talking because today is first session, therefore I am discussing these things. In coming analysis I may not. The point is that it is important for you to go for your revision. This revision has to be supplemented by test. Good amount of tests, not again and again reading. This is not going to again and again reading. This is not going to fulfill the purpose. Rather, it is a fatal attempt. 12 बार NCERT पढ़ ली, 15 बार पढ़ ली, 16 बार पढ़ ली. Why भाई, क्यों समझ नहीं आया? Okay, so this country gets more than 90% of the budget revenues from the oil industry. This country, along with UAE, introduced value-added tax for the first time in the Gulf Cooperation Council. Which one among the following could be this country? This country is very much in news. Mohammed bin Salman. Any idea about it? This country is also the best friend of USA and also is the biggest enemy of Iran. Yes, you are right, very right. Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia, the politics which is going on in this region should be there in your notebook. Create a separate atlas for international relations as well, where on the atlas itself you write about the recent activities of which person has done what, so that you do not forget anything. Also, another important thing is Israel. Israel-Palestine issue is also very important for you to know nowadays. Right? I hope things are clear to us. Yes. Question number 30 says it that with reference to National Culture Fund, which of the following statements is or are correct? So we have to choose the correct answer. NCA was established as trust under Charitable Endowment Act 1990, a funding mechanism which is distinct from existing sources, patterns of funding for arts and culture in India. देखने में अच्छा लगता है, ठीक ही होगा, गलत क्यों होगा? It is managed and administered by council, headed by Union Council Minister, and decides the policies. Its executive committee is headed by Union Minister of Culture, which actualizes those policies. Give a thought to this question. What do you think? What can be the right option for this? I'm sorry, I just moved it. So it managed and administered by council, headed by Union Cultural Minister. There is nothing wrong in it. It is 100% correct. But yes, this is important. Years you have to really be careful about while you are preparing for it. It is by 1890, not 1990. It's so back. So it is like 1890. Therefore, the right option is just 2. Second statement is correct. Its executive committee is not headed by Union Minister of Culture. It is basically Secretary Ministry of Union Culture. Those policies, right? So it's all about the factual information. जो कुछ है आपके सामने है, आपको जो कुछ चीजें हैं where you can work on concepts, you can work, but not on the every factual information you can work. You have to remember these things. So 1890 and 1990. 1990 is the wrong one. 1890 is the correct one. 31. Industrial Development Report is periodically published by which of the following organizations? Super important for you to know. Give a thought to this question just for a while. Just think which question it can be. Think about Industrial Development Report. Who can prepare it? this is very simple question, that industrial development report is periodically, it has been published by which of the following? Why are we moving ahead? So the first option says as United Nations Organization, World Trade Organization, BRICS Bank, or International Finance Corporation. So if we see, there is some glitch. Wait a while. So Industrial Development Report, it has been periodically published by United Nations Organization. It's not been published by World Trade Organization, BRICS Banks, or International Finance Corporation. It is basically UNO. And you may write down the theme as well, which says demand for manufacturing during inclusive and sustainable industrial development. Demand for manufacturing which is driving inclusive and sustainable industrial development. Driving inclusive and sustainable. That means we have two things which is like global agenda now. That is inclusive. Inclusive opposite to exclusive. What is exclusive? Exclusive would refer to this is my exclusive right, or this is an exclusive product which is available for few, not for everyone. Inclusive is which is including everybody. Plus, this inclusive growth anywhere should also be sustainable. Sustainable would refer to a growth model where you have achieved apex point, and once you reach in this level, it is not that you will consume all resources. This is not the possibility. You cannot do this because you have to pass on the benefits of natural resources to your progeny or your coming generation as well. So growth has to be sustainable in one respect, that the natural resources should also be going on to the coming generation. Other thing is it should not hit earth in terms of spoil and pollution. I hope it is clear to us. So that is the meaning of sustainable, that we are moving towards this everywhere, every country, and even now we can see that United Nations Organization in Industrial Development Report is talking about this, the same thing. Theme was deriving inclusive and sustainable industrial development. Next question, an increase in bank rate. Now there is going to be an increase in bank rate. An increase in bank rate. So what this increase have effect on overall economy of the country? Rate has been rising now. So the first option is market rate of interest is likely to fall. Market rate over here, nothing has to do, because bank rate is associated with banking system. Central bank is trying to dry up resources of commercial banks. Not at all. Central bank is on the path of an easy money policy. No. When the rates are rising, it is no way easy money policy. It is definitely opposite of easy, which is tight. So it is D for doctor, right option. Central bank is on the path of tight money policy. India is a member country in which of the following? Which among the following? ASEAN, IBSA Dialogue Forum, Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, CHOGM. If you know about recently, if you would have seen your newspaper, very cautiously you must be knowing that India is a member country in IBSA. It is a member country in Quadrilateral, but it is not the member of ASEAN. It is not the member of it. I'm sorry for clearing my throat. Therefore, the right option over here goes as when A is not there, 2, 3 and 4. So A for apple is the right option. Chogam is also India's a member country of it. This means that these organizations, we have talked about SCO earlier. These organizations, their founding member countries who are latest to join or who were initially the part of it, these things should be also the part of your question paper. Right, so we have marked it as A for apple. Which question? It is question number 33. Question number 34. Now, economy can be of various types. These days, if we say that we are globalized economy, that means this, that we are interdependent on each other. I am India. I am also dependent on Pakistan, on Afghanistan. Afghanistan, I have created Garland Highway. This Garland Highway is providing me direct connection to Central Asian countries. I am trying to enrich my resources, which will finally boost my economy. I'm also dependent on China, though I don't like it. I'm also dependent a bit on USA. My international relations are different with them. Each of them, my relations are very different on the level of international. But for economy, if I am dependent on these countries which I have named, they are also dependent on me. This is interdependence which is there, and this is the core point of globalization. That we all are interdependent on each other. If this is globalization, then there is something which is known as opposite of globalization, protectionism. My economy, I'm trying to protect my own domestic economy. My manufacturers, I won't allow anybody to come from any other foreign land to either invest individually or in the form of company in my country. So USA is following this. USA is trying to follow hardcore protectionism. That is why we are saying it, that it is not good for any of the economy. Then there is one kind of economy which claims to be self-sufficient economic system. It is also the part of NCERT, self-sufficient. Now, why are we interdependent on each other? Because we are not sufficient in one or the other resources. We would refer to USA requires other thing, maybe manpower, skilled labor. We require resources. China requires something. That means one entity, in order to become sufficient completely, is also dependent on others. No economy is 100%. What you can say? It is completely self-sufficient. But in case, if any economy comes up which claims that I am self-sufficient, I am an economic system which is not at all dependent on anybody, my demand and supply can be met through my own resources, I have completely good, great system of economy, that kind of system is known as autarky. So A for apple is the right option. Clear? It should be. These things are very important and we need to interconnect with each other. That's the main idea behind them. So consider the following statements regarding the minimum support price scheme in India. It was started in 1971 in the wake of Green Revolution. It was decided by Commission on Agriculture Cost and Price. It is announced prior to the sowing season. Green Revolution 1971, the statement is automatically wrong because it has to be 1966 to 67. It is decided by Commission on Agricultural Cost and Prices. No, it is not decided by Commission of Agriculture on Agriculture Cost and Prices. It is announced prior to sowing season is 100% right statement. So your right option is B for Bombay, that is 3 only. Right? Yes. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs plays a key role in it, which decides the minimum support price. Correct. So Green Revolution, if you come across 1971, it has nothing to do with Green Revolution. Prior to it, it was there in approximately 1966. Okay, so consider the following statements regarding drip irrigation. When anybody falls sick and any problem comes up, we admit that person to the hospital. And the person, when is not in a position to consume food, normally there is something which is known as drip. So that drip comes up drop by drop. Drop by drop we provide the nutrition to the patient. Similarly, drip irrigation is all about providing dedicated drip to the plant. Best way to conserve and preserve water. If India is today not a water scarce country, but yes, 100%, it is water stressed country which is gradually moving on to water scarcity. Niti Aayog's report, few months back it was out. Keep that report in your notebooks. It was there in newspapers as well. From water stressed, we are moving on to water scarcity, and yes, water scarcity, we are at the verge of it. I hope we are very much clear with it, right? So, consider the following statements regarding drip irrigation. It helps in minimizing evaporation of water from soil. It enables saving of nutrients. Second statement is correct, right? So it has a limitation that it can be used only from above the soil surface. No, it has no such limitation. It can be used above and below both. So third statement is wrong, and we have to choose which of the statements given above is or are correct. So we have to see the ones which are correct. So C for cat 1 and 2, they are the right option. It helps in minimizing evaporation of water from soil. Shall I proceed? I should. Now, which of the following statement are correct regarding Central Social Welfare Board? Central Social Welfare Board. It comes under the aegis of Ministry of Social Justice and Environment. All these ministries, they are being mentioned in your India Yearbook. Therefore, India Yearbook should be a priority. It was established in 1953. And its members comprise representatives from union and state governments only. What can be your stake in it? It does not come under basically the aegis, that is under the guidance of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So first statement is definitely wrong statement for us. And its members comprises representatives from union and states only. It is again a wrong statement. And yes, it is true that it was being established in 1953. So B for Bombay is your right option. Fine. And the important information has been mentioned, the key points, the factual information of everything has been mentioned in your answer keys. So revise your answer key as well and don't take them lightly. You only need 2 hours for dedicated revision. After that, if you encounter any trouble, you can send me your mail at sherry.singh@careerlauncher.com. What else? Nothing more. Okay. So the Union Cabinet has given its ex post facto approval for the Memorandum of Understanding on Collaborative Research on Distributed Ledger and Blockchain Technology in the context of the development of digital economy by Export and Import Bank of India, that is Exim Bank, with the participating members under BRICS Interbank Cooperative Mechanism, ADB, RBI or AIIB. Question number 38. Purely factual, and it is based on your current affairs preparation. Purely factual question. What can you say about it? Now in such questions, obviously, as I have been saying since beginning, either you know or you don't. So A for apple is the right option. This lake was declared as Wildlife Sanctuary in November 1999 under India's Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. India's Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. This is one part. And it was also designated as a wetland of international importance in November 2002. This means that we should be very much aware about the wetlands of our country as well. Under International Ramsar Convention, which one of the following could be this lake? Rudrasagar, Koleru, Chilika or Bullar? It is B for Bombay. It is Koleru Lake. So this definition, this complete question itself is sufficing information for you to remember about Koleru Lake. This lake was declared as Wildlife Sanctuary in November 99. What it was? Wildlife. So questions should be read very carefully. Wildlife Sanctuary in November 1999, number 1. And it is also under India's Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Plus, it is also international importance related wetland and is been the part of Ramsar. 3 points you have derived about Koleru Lake. Very important. B for Bombay, Koleru Lake is the right option. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the Mahalwari system? It was devised by Alexander Reed in the north-western provinces of Bengal Presidency. Under the system, charge of collecting the revenue and paying it to the company was given to the village headman. That is why it is Mahalwari. In Ryotwari, the direct contact was with the Ryot, the farmer. But in Mahalwari, it was the duty of the Mahal of the village, the headman of the village, to collect the revenue and then pass it on. So second statement is correct. Under the system, revenue demand was not revised periodically but fixed. No, the second statement is correct only, whereas first and third are 100% wrong. Therefore, B for Bombay is the right option. So it was not devised by Alexander Reed, it was devised by Holt Mackenzie. And if you see this, even if you know the statement 2 is correct and 3 is wrong, you can simply say that B for Bombay is the right option. According to the India State of Forest Report 2017, which among the following states have shown the maximum increase in forest cover? Now in this question, I want you to have a look at this question very sincerely. Just 30 seconds, take your time and try to solve this question. Very factual. Just look at it, what you can make out. Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, Kerala, Western Ghats, Southwest monsoons, Malabar coast. Just have a look at it. Andhra Pradesh, Eastern Ghats, Karnataka is again part of Western Ghats. So where you can imagine maximum increase in forest cover in Forest Report 2017. You have to take a look at this question and try to write this question on your notebook. 30 seconds, simply 30 seconds time. So now what have you realized? That the maximum increase in forest cover, this means that who is improving at what pace in increasing of the forest cover. For this, any state it can be, and it is Andhra Pradesh number 1, followed by Karnataka and followed by Kerala. Therefore D for doctor is your right option. The first one is Andhra Pradesh in your question. The second has to be the Karnataka, and this has to be the sequence. So little bit there is, it should have been written in increasing order or in decreasing order in the question itself, but by the options that are being given, we can make out this thing. So we have written it, and we have also this information in our answer keys. The Gulf Center for Human Rights, often in the news, is an basically A for Apple. It is an independent, non-profit, non-governmental organization that provides support and protection to human rights defenders in the Gulf region and in neighbor countries. Such kind of questions, they also come up in your prelims because of the human rights crisis which are going on in especially the Gulf region and also in the adjoining area. If I'm at the Horn of Africa, correct, I know that if I'm in Yemen or even at the Horn of Africa, I am having human rights crisis. So whenever crisis will be there in any part, even Israel, Gaza Strip is also having some human rights crisis. So every organization or maybe any organization which is working primarily for the upliftment of people, those who are in crisis, those organizations can be the part of our question. Few years back, there was one question about Amnesty International. Similarly, this Gulf Center for Human Rights can also be there. What is it? It is an independent, it is non-profit, and it is also a NGO. Amnesty is important with this Medicino. Now this is French. Doctors Without Borders in English. So this is also, they have played great role while there was Doctors Without Borders for eradication, for controlling Ebola. Doctors Without Borders. These things can also be there in your questions, right? Yes. The 5 littoral Caspian Sea nations have agreed upon a legal framework for sharing the world's largest inland body of water. Which of the following countries are bounded by Caspian Sea? Kazakhstan, Iran, Iraq, Azerbaijan. So select the correct answer using the codes given below: 1, 2 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. The 5 littoral Caspian Sea nations. Caspian Sea Atlas, that is why I'm saying keep a deadly and a completely dedicated atlas for your international relations preparation as well, because it is very important for us to know that what kind of questions can be there and how they can be also connected with other subject. Let's say the part is of international, it can be also the part of geography. If you know the location of Caspian Sea, you can come up with the Caspian Sea countries and how they have come together for a legal framework. So for option A for Apple is the right, 1, 2 and 4. Kazakhstan, Iran and Azerbaijan. Iraq is out of options. Do look at your atlas first. Question number 44. Which among the following are the consequences if Earth suddenly stops spinning? Earth is spinning like this. For example, this is Earth. So generally we assume Earth is not like this. Exactly. It is not like this. Rather, if this is Earth, it is spinning. So it's been in approximately equal halves that we create. So it's spinning on its axis like this. This is rotation. So when it is also moving around sun, it gives us revolution, the change in seasons, and rotation gives us day and night. Suddenly, if everything goes, Earth stops spinning around its axis, it's an imaginary line axis. What will happen? The ocean will move eastward with great speed, deluging the land masses. Something is moving like this. Suddenly it stops. The ocean's water, they will come first this direction and then they would go back and they will deluge. They will absorb all the land masses. There will be no impact on the person standing exactly in the North Pole or the South Pole. Maximum impact on trees, buildings and people will be felt over equator. So it's a part of your physics, your science question. So D for doctor is the right option for it. These can be the consequences for it. Consider the following statements regarding foreign direct investment in India. Foreign direct investment has increased drastically. The word this drastically, whenever you see this, it is an extreme word. Whenever you come across such questions in any of the examination, halt. Hang on, ruko, think about it and then proceed. The maximum chunk of FDI has been received from Singapore, Mauritius. The increase of FDI has strengthened Indian rupee in the international market. Dekhte hain. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Drastically, this is wrong. Maximum chunk of FDI has been received from Mauritius, not from Singapore. Second statement, wherever is it, it is wrong. 3 is the right statement, that is B for Bombay is your option. Contour bunding, it's been mentioned in your NCRTs and also in other books of your environment, where you talk about methods of soil conservation, and especially in those chapters where there is all about erosion, weathering, degradation. So all those chapters are very important for you to know, and how we can preserve soil. It is used for soil conservation, very right. It is used extensively in desert margins to guard against strong wind action. No. It is used in low floodplains. Let's see. But it is definitely not for which area? Deserts. It's basically for hilly areas, not for the desert. So second statement is wrong. Wherever there is second statement, you have to cut it out, and B for Bombay, that is 1 only is the right option. It is used in low floodplains liable to flooding. Again, it is a wrong one. Contour bunding. Right. Question number 47. So which of the following is correct term? You have to go for a second, guys. You have to hold for a second. I'm having some problem in my throat. I'll be back just in a while. So, which of the following is correct about the term Dhanush? Recently, Dhanush. In news, it is an ancient bow recovered by Archaeological Survey of India. Dhanush. Archery? No. It is a long-range drone. Drone, you see, these days they fly and they catch every moment of weddings and functions. So, it is not a drone basically. It is an interceptor missile developed by RDO. Again, it is a wrong. It is basically a gun. It is a long-range artillery gun. So, for 47, D for doctor is the right option. The most important fishing grounds of the world can be found in the regions where very high rainfall is recorded throughout the year. Is it possible? Not much. Continental shelf is undulating. Large gradients of heat is found in water bodies, and warm and cold oceanic currents meet. The best example is Sargasso Sea, where warm and cold oceanic currents meet. There is huge inflow of nutrients. So those areas where warm and cold oceanic currents meet, they form the best and the most important fishing grounds of the world. Anywhere where warm and cold currents meet, those areas are very rich in fishing, and fishing industry thrives there a lot. Yes. Which of the following is or are example or examples of the nature subsidized solar power system? I would suggest you to leave this question for the while because I find some problem in it. So in the next session, in the next mock, we'll discuss about it. What is the nature subsidized solar power ecosystem? I find some trouble in the creation of this question and also of its options. With reference to Indian history, who among the following is a bodhisattva who embodies the compassion of all Buddhas? The question comes over here is that we should know the difference between Buddha and bodhisattva. So Buddha is one who has attained, who has achieved, who is already with enlightenment, जिसे बोध हो गया है, जिसे जिंदगी का ज्ञान हो गया है, who has achieved nirvana, that is enlightenment. Buddha who has achieved enlightenment, bodhisattva who is on the path of achieving enlightenment but not has yet achieved it. And this difference, though it's been not very explicitly mentioned in your NCRT, but these two words, they have been clearly mentioned Bodhisattva. So Avalokitesvara is a Bodhisattva. It is not a Buddha. And this Bodhisattva, Avalokitesvara, it is embodiment of what? Compassion of all Buddhas. Lokesvara is also a type of Avalokitesvara. In certain countries, Avalokitesvara has been worshipped as Lokesvara. Padampani is another Bodhisattva. Where is Maitreya? D for Dr. 1. Maitreya is a Brahmin. It is there in your NCERT of Fine Arts, you call that. Buddha, sorry, Maitreya is a Buddha. Did I say Brahman? No, it is not, brother, slip of tongue. Maitreya is a Buddha. Maitreya is not a Bodhisattva. So A is the right option. Avalokitesvara, the picture is also there of holding one lotus and something. Climate is ideal for maximum comfort and mental alertness, and horticulture industry is most prominent here. Question number 51. Climate is ideal for maximum comfort. There is not sweating, ना तो ठठर है, ना sweating है, mental alertness है. अब ठंड जब नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर पे होगी या इवन गर्मी है जो नॉर्मली होगी, तो it will not affect your mental alertness. But if it is chilling cold, if it is creating numbness in your body, you will not be alert. You will be sloth. You will be try to be lazy. Similar is the case with your summers. If summers are going to be very scorching, the days are going to be sweltering hot, पसीना आ रहा है, कुछ नहीं हो रहा, तो आपके alertness पे दिक्कत होगी. Similar is the horticulture industry, which is directly being affected by the extremes of temperature, be it winter or be it summers. But this temperature that we are talking about, it ideal for maximum comfort, and it is there in South Islands region. B for Bombay. Next question, according to the consultation report published by International Monetary Fund, growth of India, it has been fueled or influenced by which among the following factors? So India's trajectory, India's high growth is being fueled, propelled or been influenced by which of the factors? So there is one report that has been consultation report created by International Monetary Fund. The given statement of the question itself can be a question in the coming mocks itself, that who has created that consultation report. Then 3-4 options can be given to you, UNO, World Bank or IMF. It has been by IMF. So D for doctor is the right option. 52 stands as stability oriented policies by the government, enactment of insolvency and bankruptcy code, and inflation targeting monetary policy by the central bank. And what was there in USA? Subprime lending crisis. India was in a position to avert that crisis. D for doctor is the right option. Which among the following are the causes of Vellore mutiny? Doctrine of lapse, Lord Dalhousie, introduction of new army regulations, or economic exploitation of the British rule? Vellore mutiny, Sepoy mutiny 1857, very famous. So what do you know about? Now we are landing on to which question we have encountered now? Modern history. मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री के सवाल नहीं आते, ये नहीं आता, वो नहीं आता, आपको सब तैयार करना है, आप कुछ नहीं छोड़ सकते. So for this, it's a very simple one. The right option is B for Bombay, not doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse was very important at the time of Sepoy mutiny. So B for Bombay, second statement is the right statement for this. So B for Bombay is the right option. Imprint second recently was in news. Consider the following statements, and before imprint second came, there was also imprint one. So it is all about harnessing more innovation through technology research. It is an initiative of human resource development. It aims to transform knowledge into viable technology. This is very correct, into viable technology. Knowledge you are already having, but you have to convert that knowledge into technology. It addresses engineering challenges in 10 technology domains which are relevant to India. So what can be your answer to it? Imprint. Imprint, impacting research, innovation and technology. Impacting research, innovation and technology. We have to see the right option. D for doctor is the right option for this. With reference to the one planet and one city challenge, which one of the following statement is or are correct? So it is an initiative of Worldwide Fund for Nature. It is an annual event which has been held worldwide, correct? And also the Norway city of Upasla was named global winner of 2018 One Planet, One City Challenge. This is your question paper. Question number is 55th. Yes, it is an initiative of Worldwide Fund for Nature, and it is also an annual event. Earth Hour, you remember? Worldwide, where individual and communities, they turn off their non-essential lights for 1 hour, Earth Hour, as a symbol of commitment to Mother Earth. It's not basically the Norway city of Upasla, it is the Sweden city of Upasla. So the right option for you is C for cat, that is 1 and 2. What is the correct sequence of occurrence of following cities in South America as one proceeds from north to south? Very interestingly, it is A for apple, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It is Caracas, it is Bogota, it is Quito, it is La Paz and Escunian. Simple, A for apple. So that means this is the question of map work. What we have seen, India book. We have seen map work, we have seen the glimpse of modern India with the form of Malur Mutiny, as well as we have seen one more question about the settlement system, about Mahalwari system. We have also seen this. Okay, so which of the following statements is correct regarding the recently expanded Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana? The union government has doubled the overdraft facility, and also the age limit for availing the facility has been raised to 65 years from the current, which you have 60 years, and each bank account will be topped up with free insurance cover of rupees 5 lakh. It's not rupees 5 lakh, it is simply rupees 2 lakh. So the correct option for this is C for cat, 2 and 3. What we have to see, we are on question number 57. Third statement is wrong. 1 and 2 are the correct options. So C for cat is the right option. Each bank account will be topped up. अपने आप से free insurance top हो जाएगा of rupees 2 lakhs. Great going. If you walk by the side of a lake and observe that it has a clear water, few vegetation, थोड़ी बहुत vegetation है, grows on its banks, and the lake is deep and very few birds are visiting the lake. Very few birds. Certain keywords are there. Few vegetation, few birds, that means few vegetation, few birds, that means low in biodiversity, low in flora and fauna, right? Which one of the following could be this lake? Eutrophic. Eutrophic is rich in nutrients. Mesotrophic, no. Brackish is salty, correct? And oligotrophic lake would refer to this lake which is there, and it is also having very steep gradients, and when the gradients are very steep, it is not so easy to sit on these lakes. And a eutrophic lake, we all know that it is rich in nutrients. So with reference to regional integrated multi-hazard early warning system, regional, कुछ regions हैं. This is my region, I belong to this area. So all these countries which are there, this is Sri Lanka, I go this way, Pakistan, Myanmar, and finally we have seen other countries. If you see that we are also at the Sunda Arc, which was in news of this recent which is happening in Indonesia. So all these countries, they create one forum, regional forum, integrated multi-hazard early warning system. If we get warning early, what will happen? We will try to minimize the impact of disaster, which is known as disaster management, GS paper 3. So it is an intergovernmental body registered with United Nations. It is owned and managed by 45 nations in Asia, Pacific and African countries. Its aim to build capacity, respond effectively to transboundary hazards. Transboundary hazard will not see I am at the boundary of India or Pakistan. Hazard will cross it. Tsunami will not see I am in Indonesia or I am in India. Tsunami is tsunami. So transboundary, it is not that now this is one country, I am not having good relations with it, and tsunami, let's say, has occurred here. It has also reached to this country. Now these two countries, they will co-join together under this forum, and then they will finally say, okay, fine, I'll also help you. They will help each other. Plus the other member countries of the organization, they will also be very influential in it. So for 59th, D for doctor is the right option. Which of the following can be potential sources of carbon dioxide emission? Respiration, fermentation, exhaust of automobiles, nuclear fission or photosynthesis. One thing is very clear, 3 has to be there. Wherever there is 3, that is the right option. Exhaust of automobiles, every nowadays we talk about exhaust of automobiles is contributing to the increase of carbon dioxide, which is adding on to the global warming. Now respiration means that there has been the breaking up of carbohydrates and then there is release up of carbon dioxide. In fermentation, the complete chemical process takes place without oxygen, but the byproduct or the last product which comes out is obviously carbon dioxide. Nuclear fission does not mean anything with carbon dioxide. This is one particle, something has been bombarded into it, fission has happened. Fusion would refer to, there are 2 particles, after the bombardment, they became one. Fission and fuse. Photosynthesis, carbon dioxide has been absorbed and oxygen has been released. Correct? So, where is the potential sources of carbon dioxide are? It is respiration, fermentation, 1, 2 and 3. So, for 60th, A for apple is the right option. Which of the following countries have not signed the charter to establish South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation on December 8th, 1985? At the time when originally this idea was being thought about, at that given point of time, which countries were originally the part of it? That's what we have discussed. For SEO as well, ये हमने सुना है ना कि हमें ये पता होना चाहिए कि अगर कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनी है, इसके फाउंडिंग में कंट्रीज कौन से हैं, कौन से उस टाइम पे ओरिजिनली थे, कौन से बाद में आए, किनके पास अभी ऑब्जर्वर स्टेटस है. That's all. Now we have landed on to SAARC. Very much into news. Nowadays it has become a playground of Indo and Pakistan conflict. Afghanistan became the member of SAARC in 2007. Originally it was not the part of it. So now it is the member of SAARC, but originally it was not. Then we have Pakistan. Yes, it is. Myanmar, Maldives, India. Maldives and India, they were Pakistan, Maldives and India, they were the part of SAARC, not Afghanistan. Initially, 2007 it joined. Myanmar is still not the part of SAARC. So what can be the right option for us? We can talk about Myanmar, we can leave. The options has to be 2, 4 and 5. B for Bombay is the right option. Correct? 1 and 3. We have to see what? Acha, we have to see those questions which were not signed. So this is wrong. This statement is, I have taken it the wrong manner. A for apple is the right option. They were not the part of it. This is, we have to see, they were originally the part of it. 2, 4 and 5. A for apple. So consider the following statements with reference to cold fusion reactor, nuclear fission fusion reactor. Both CFR and NFR use radioactive material as raw material. In CFR, weak nuclear forces are involved, while in NFR, strong nuclear forces are involved. Radioactive waste is generated in both type of reactors. What we are talking about? The radioactive waste has been generated in both types of reactors. So for this, your right option goes as B for Bombay, because CFR, it does not use the radioactive material for its raw material. So B for Bombay is the right option. Proceeding 63rd. With reference to the term ecosystem, consider the following statements. It was first used by A.G. Tinsley. It describes a discrete unit that consists of living and non-living components interacting to form a stable system. Ecosystem. It consists of living biotic, both abiotic components, abiotic, and then there will be abiotic and abiotic interaction. So all these interactions, they stabilize and they form what? They form a complete and stable ecosystem. It was first coined by or used by this term A.G. Tinsley. C for cat is the right option for this. In medieval India, the Diwani Wazarat and Diwani Risalat, they were used for finance and religious affairs. B for Bombay for this question is the right option. B for Bombay. Finance, Diwani Wazarat. Religious, Diwani Risalat. It was basically for religious affairs. Now we have landed on to one question of polity we have not seen yet, I suppose. So one form of seeking justice is some problem has happened to you and you have said the person, I'll catch you in court. Court mein dikhunga tujhe. You went to lower court. In lower court, you were not satisfied with the sort of the verdict that came out. Appeal went to the other court. Finally, you went to the High Court. After High Court, whatever the verdict even High Court gave, you did not feel happy. You went to Supreme Court. The complete mechanism that you have followed the method of appealing or appellate jurisdiction. That you have followed appellate. So this problem, you have followed this course, which is known as appellate jurisdiction. Another thing comes up which you say as that, okay, my right to equality, it's being heard by few people, by some group. Court is available, lower court, district court, high court is available, finally it is Supreme Court. When your right to equality is not right to education, when your right to equality is been disturbed, you can overlook this complete hierarchy of jurisdiction. Directly you can knock the door of Supreme Court and you can say that, see Supreme Court, this thing has happened with me and now what should you do? Now what should I do? You have to restore my fundamental rights. This is known as original jurisdiction. Just a glimpse of it. Further details will be covering up with more of the mocks. So which of the following is are included in original jurisdiction of Supreme Court of India? A dispute between the government of India and one or more states. तो कौन करेगा उनको? कौन सी स्टेट की वो हाई कोर्ट करेगी? Obviously it has to be Supreme Court. Dispute between two or more states. पंजाब और हरियाणा का झगड़ा हो गया, कौन करेगा? हरियाणा करेगा, बिहार करेगा, यूपी करेगा, कौन करेगा? Supreme Court. A dispute related to violation of fundamental rights is an example which we have seen. Obviously, Supreme Court of India. D for doctor is the right option. This question is basically very, I would say, factual to say, or information oriented. It's a very simple question. Such kind of questions can come, but you have to be very careful for them, and newspapers are the best sources for it. The unusual and very efficient whistle language known as a bird language, which has recently entered the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage. This means this list of UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage is still used as a means of communication by villages in remote areas of which of the following countries? This list, updated and revised list, should be there in your revision books. Southern India, Northern Turkey, Northern China, Southern Canada, not to go here and there, it is B for Bombay, and Northern Turkey. The authority for constitution is higher than that of the parliament. What is the main reason for it? The constitution specifies how parliament is to be formed. And what are its powers? और the constitution was framed before the parliament. तो बड़ा है भाई, जो दुनिया में पहले आया है वो बड़ा है, एल्डर है. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पहले आया था, पार्लियामेंट बाद में बना था, ये रीजन हो सकता है. The constitution makers were more eminent leaders than the members of parliament. Members of parliament, they are hurling shoes at each other, shouting, calling names, but whereas constitution makers, they were very great leaders. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Or the constitution cannot be amended by parliament. So which of the reasons, which of the following reasons you feel is very pertinent, is very strong? Of that reason, the authority of constitution is higher than that of parliament. What can be the reason for that? It is A for apple. The constitution specifies, the constitution is the law of the land, and our constitution is the world's bulkiest constitution, and it specifies how parliament it has to be formed, what will be its powers, the president, everything has been mentioned in our constitution. Therefore, our constitution is supreme law of the land. That is why it is superior to parliament. All other questions which are, the options which are there, they are not good for answering. हाँ, वैसे बातें करने के लिए अच्छा है, but not for answering. She was doctor by profession. Now these questions are known as personality based question. Personality based question, and then there will be event based question. You can encounter certain questions about 1918 because 2018 we are completing 100 years of World War I. In 1919 we are completing 2019 we are going to complete 100 years of Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So certain questions can be there. She was a doctor by profession. She encouraged women to join the troop led by Subhash Chandra Bose. She took the initiative of forming a women's regiment, named it Rani of Jhansi Regiment. Aruna Asif Ali, Lakshmi Sehgal, Madam Bika Ji Kama or Sarojini Naidu. The right option for this is Lakshmi Sehgal. So she was doctor by profession and she encouraged women to join the troops which were being led by Subhash Chandra Bose. Her regiment, name of her regiment, women's regiment, was Rani of Jhansi Regiment. Even you can get questions about Rani of Jhansi Regiment. Indian Standard Meridian passes through which of the following states? A factual, basic, starting type question of your NCERT, very first 6th standard NCERT can clarify this question of yours. So that means NCERTs are very important for us to study. UP is correct, Odisha is correct, Andhra Pradesh is correct, not Jharkhand. And now after the division of Andhra Pradesh into Telangana, still in Telangana as well, this does not pass. IST does not pass through Telangana, even it does not pass through Jharkhand. So, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. After Andhra Pradesh, if you see the map, the IST it goes into Bay of Bengal directly. It does not even touch Sri Lanka. It is into water. Just to remember for your map work. So what will be the right option? 2 is not there, 1, 3 and 4. A for apple is the right option. The death or resignation of the Prime Minister automatically brings about the dissolution of the Council of Ministers, more of polity. It is also the constitutional obligation of the Prime Minister to communicate to President all decisions of the Council of Ministers. अब Prime Minister यहाँ पे है, इनके पास है अपनी Council of Ministers और इसके बीच में इनकी अपनी कोर आती है Cabinet. President is sitting in his home or maybe in his office. Some people's critiques, they call, the political critiques, they call President of India as a rubber stamp. And now President does not know what is happening with Council of Ministers. So it is the responsibility of the Prime Minister to share the information with the President of India about what is happening in Council of Ministers. It is a constitutional obligation of Prime Minister. If someone becomes a prime minister or a minister without being MP, the person was not initially member parliament, but directly he became either prime minister or a minister or MP or a minister, not MP. Without being MP, such a person has to get elected to parliament within 6 months. Second statement is correct. Just work on C and D. And in C and D, one is explicitly given, right? Second statement we have discussed. First is there. In both C and D, try to analyze. One is there. I'm trying to make you competent that how you can solve the answers through your options. Second statement we know is correct. And third statement is a little bit factual part that you have to remember. Within 6 months, elections are around the corner. Even election is in the air. So many states, they have witnessed a change, turn around. We know about the Hindutva and all those concepts. So 70th, D for doctor is the right option. All these three statements are correct. Death or resignation of Prime Minister automatically brings about the dissolution of Council of Ministers. Now this is a prelims question. Lichen is a composite organism. Composite. Composed of other organisms maybe. Composite organism. Why it is composite? Because it is composed of fungus, algae, composite, and alga living in symbiotic association. Symbiotic association, they live together. First statement is correct. And they are extremely sensitive to atmospheric pollution. Yes, lichens. So lichen is equal to F plus A, which are in symbiotic relationship. They are very sensitive to atmospheric pollution. Whenever there is increase in the atmospheric pollution, they give certain change in colors with which we can see that yes, because of this, the happening, lichen is getting destroyed. Now you see that certain, like sparrows, it was there that due to more installation of mobile towers, sparrows in Delhi and NCR region, their population, it was being reduced. Also, diclofenac in cases of vulture, it was a direct threat to the vulture population. So when vultures, they started reducing in the population, the scavengers, the natural scavengers are the one, those who consume the dead parts, dead particles, dead bodies or whatever of animals and so on, it was also reducing. So vultures, they are also depicting something, and we have seen the example of sparrow. And lichens, they give you the best, the level of atmospheric pollution. That it will be green if it is good, if it is not good, it will become yellow and all in all. It is just for example, it is not that. These are the colors just to make you. Diclofenac question was also there in 2012 paper. Fine, so C for cat for 71 is the right option. 72nd question. Asia Pacific Trade Agreement previously named the Bangkok Agreement was signed in 1955 as an initiative of Economic, Social and Commission for Asia Pacific. It was not basically in 1955. It was 1975. India is not a founding member of APTA. Okay. APTA is the only operational trade agreement linking India and China, or two of the fastest growing markets in the world, and other major markets such as the Republic of Korea. So such questions are coming again and again. Therefore, we have to be a bit cautious about it. We have to see what kind of questions will come more or less. So for this, actually, your right option goes as B for Bombay, that it is the only operational trade agreement which is linking China and India and two other major markets as Republic of Korea. B for Bombay for 72 is the right option. Based on foreign direct investment receivings in India, arrange the given sectors of the economy in decreasing order. Descending is the decreasing order. कहाँ कहाँ हमें कितनी FDI हुई, ये हमें देखना है. डिक्रीजिंग का मतलब सबसे पहले ज़्यादा वाली पे फोकस करेंगे. So for this the option goes as 73rd option is 1, and simple is 1, 2, 3, 4. Order is descending. Order is decreasing. Ascending is increasing. Decreasing. Highest share services. Second share is for computer, software and hardware. Third is telecommunications. And the last one, the least one, which was having most of the workforce, that is construction. It has received least foreign direct investment. Which of the following statements are not correct regarding minorities in India? The word minority has been defined nowhere in the constitution. We have to see the ones which are wrong. Minority status in India can be accorded only on the basis of religion and sect. No, it can be also on the basis of language. Jains were not included as minorities as per the original notification for minorities in India. The statement is correct. National Commission for Minorities has been accorded a constitutional status. No. So which are the wrong statements? 2 is a wrong statement and 4 is a wrong statement. So safely we can say that it is C for cat, which is the right option. Minorities, polity, again important. Now with reference to the draft National Clean Air Program recently seen in news, which of the following statements are correct? It was released by National Green Tribunal. Who is releasing what? Under its infrastructure used to monitor the PM 2.5 will be expanded. Number of manual monitoring stations will be increased across the country. First statement is wrong. It is by Ministry of Earth Sciences. And therefore, it is under its infrastructure. So National Green Tribunal has nothing to do with it. Under its infrastructure used to monitor PM 2.5 will be expanded. Number of manual monitoring stations will also be increased across the country. First statement is wrong. 2 and 3 will be the right options. Did I say Earth Sciences? No, it is basically Ministry of Environment, not Earth Sciences. Sometimes there is, when you speak, sometimes there's some changes, things happened. Okay. Okay, so 76, self-respect movement. E.V. Ramaswamy started self-respect movement in 1895, wrong, not in 1895, in 1925. The aims are correct of self-respect movement were to uplift Dravidians and to expose the Brahminical tyranny and deceptive methods by which they control all the spheres of Hindu life. The supremacy, the so-called supremacy of being superior to others. On June 27, 1970, by UNESCO, organization praised E.V. Ramaswamy and adorned him with the title Socrates of South Asia. Yes, any idea about it? So A for apple is the right option for this. The term gravitational lensing, sometimes seen in the news, is recently related to what? Gravitational lensing, science and technology. Is related to what? It is basically change in the path of light when it passes near the massive bodies. The lenses whose focal length change with gravity, it has nothing to do with it, though the name is gravitational lensing. Or the lenses used to measure gravity? No, it is the change in the path of light. Now this path of light, you have to remember, it is path of light, it is not sound. It is not any other gravitational wave. It is the change of the path of light when it passes through or nearby any massive body. So 77th is A for apple. Consider the following statements regarding the one of the Governor General of India. He appointed the first Famine Commission under Sir Richard Strachey. Vernacular Press Act was passed during his tenure. He introduced uniform salt tax throughout the British India. Without thinking anything, it is B for Bombay, Lord Lytton. Only one building at Fatehpur Sikri is built of white marble, the tomb of Sheikh Salim Chishti, Akbar's spiritual preceptor, art and architecture. The Red Fort is an irregular octagon. Octagon is something which is having 8 sides. All its walls, gates and other structures constructed in red sandstone and marble, never used for the palaces. So the second statement says that in Red Fort there was certain palaces where never marble was being used. No. Whereas in Diwan-e-Aam, you can write it down if you want to even. In Diwan-e-Aam, it was the marble which was being used. Question number is your 79, I suppose. Correct? Yes. So marble was for Diwan-e-Aam for canopy. The canopy itself, it was made of marble. So second statement is wrong. The first statement is 100% correct. Which of? Diwan-e-Aam. Diwan-e. So even in Redford, we can say that. Fine. Octagon, 8 sides. This statement is correct. Tomb of Sheikh Muslim Chishti. The sub-regional organization came into being on 6th June 1997 through the Bangkok Declaration. Then, which among the following organizations is associated with Bangkok Declaration that we have seen earlier as well? Bangkok Declaration. SAARC we have just seen. ASEAN, India is not part of the ASEAN. BRICS, India is a part of BRICS. What is BRICS? BRICS is very recent. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So Bangkok Declaration has nothing to do with your BRICS. SAARC that we have seen, again, BIMSTEC. Sorry, this Bangkok Declaration, nothing, and not even for ASEAN. The correct option which is being left for you is only BIMSTEC. For BIMSTEC, which is the Bangkok Declaration. B for Bay of Bengal, B for BIMSTEC, B for Bangkok Declaration. So question number 81, is it? Okay. Indian Neutrino Observatory, it was there in news a lot. It will be an underground laboratory for a non-accelerator based high energy and nuclear physics research. Now if you say, yaar ye question kahan se statement ban gayi? These statements, they come up from your newspaper. Exactly, they are being mentioned over here. Even if you don't understand the concepts, at least you know the language of the question, the way it was being discussed in the newspaper. If you're well versed with it, you can easily sail through such questions. They will not be troublesome for you because they are factual. It will be constructed at Bodhi West Hills of Theni district of Tamil Nadu. Indian Neutrino Observatory, just few months back, it was being discussed very widely and vividly. So for 81, C for cat is the right option. It will be an underground laboratory for non-accelerator based high energy and nuclear physics research. Consider the following statements regarding OLEDs and micro-LEDs. Recently in news that micro-LEDs are self-emissive and require no backlight, but OLEDs do require backlight. Such differences should be there while we go for our science and technology part. LEDs, LCD, these differences, then micro LED, because we live in the age of where we talk about conservation of resource. Anything which will conserve this electricity energy, this is important for us to see, right? So for this, OLEDs are made up of organic matter. Micro LEDs are more powerful than OLEDs. So for this, B for Bombay is basically the right option. B for Bombay. 2 and 3 are only correct. Consider the following pairs, tradition and state. Kang Chingba Manipur, Saga Dawa Sikkim. Which pairs are correctly matched? And it is about Nong Krem Dance Festival. Tradition, state. We have talked about traditional theatres today as well. So for here, Kang Chingba is for Manipur correct, Saga Dawa is Sikkim correct, and the Nong Krem Dance Festival for Meghalaya is again 100% correct. You have to give more impetus to Ishan. Ishan. What is Ishan? Was also there in your India book. The northeast. Sun rises in the east. So all the northeastern states, their culture, dance forms, everything should be in our preparation list. Plus, the northeastern region is also very close to Golden Triangle. Golden Triangle is a very infamous triangle, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, which is infamous for the trafficking of drugs with other material which is causing HIV. Similarly, when we talk about Punjab, to this region, this area of Punjab is very close to something which is known as Golden Crescent. Iran, Afghanistan, it's like this, which covers roughly Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan and India. Punjab, close to border, Gurdaspur district. The Gurdaspur district is the border district of Punjab, and it is the highly affected by drugs, trafficking of drugs. So for culture, everything, Manipur, Sikkim, Meghalaya, all northeastern states, it is important for us to see their art and culture, and also the dance forms, folk, everything. D for doctor for 83 is the right option. Payments Council of India, which of the following statement is not correct? That is, it is wrong. It is an apex governmental body representing companies in payment and settlement system. It was formed in 2003 under the aegis of Internet and Mobile Association of India to cater needs of the digital payment industry India. It was formed for representing various regulated non-banking payment industry players to help resolve various industry level issues and barriers in payments and settlement in India. So the third point is the correct one, that it was formed for representing various regulated, which are regulated non-banking payment industry players, and to help resolve various industry level issues and barriers in payments and settlement system. 3 is the correct one. We have to see which of the following is not correct option. So the right option over here goes as C for cat, which is 1 and 2. Your answer key is completely providing the details of it. There is nothing to explain over here much. Consider the following statements regarding the village panchayats. In the modern times, elected local governments were created after 1882, not by Lord Cornwallis. It was not created by Lord Cornwallis. Under the following the Government of India Act of 1919, village panchayats were established in a number of provinces. When the constitution was prepared, the subject of local government was assigned to states. The first statement in modern times that elected local government were created after by 1882 Lord Cornwallis is basically a wrong one, because it was being prepared by Lord Ripon. We have seen Lord Lytton, and it is Lord Ripon. C for cat, tooth and second and third statement, which is saying, following the Government of India Act of 1919, village panchayats were established in number of provinces is the correct statement. When the constitution was prepared, the subject of local government was assigned to states is also correct. So, which statement is right? C for cat. Second, C for cat. 2 and 3 statements are correct. Okay. Which of the following releases the state of global climate report? About this, the one who is going to release the state of global climate report, this organization is also actively participating in the formation of IPCC's report. Most authentic report which is to be considered by the states in order to take actions to control, to reduce and to mitigate the effects of climate change. Global climate report has been prepared by World Meteorological Organization. WMO is the one who prepares the state of the global climate report. Which of the following statements is true regarding relations between Union government and the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Jammu and Kashmir was also in use because of the problem. Article 371. The President rule can be imposed in the state on the grounds of failure of constitutional machinery under the provisions of Indian Constitution. We are landing on to second question first. And the first statement says the jurisdictions of Comptroller CAG are not applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, whereas it is wrong. It is applicable to it under Article 148 to Article 151. Correct? So that means that the right option for this is B for Bombay. That President rule can be imposed in the states only on the ground of failure of constitutional machinery under the provisions of Constitution. So we have to see correct, which is we have done. Which one of the following is not true regarding Barabar Hill caves? They are in all 4 caves in the Barabar Hill. The inscriptions on Barabar caves date back to 6th century BC. The inscriptions on the Barabar Hill caves inform that these caves were dedicated to a Jivika sect. Inscriptions of Ashoka have been found on the walls of 3 of these caves. This is very correct. It is one of the most authentic sources which provides insight about the administration and rule of Ashoka. The inscriptions on the Barabar Hill caves inform that these caves were dedicated to a Jivika sect. This is also correct. But they were not dating back to 6th century BC. It is 3rd century BC. They are 4 correct. So we have to see which is not true regarding Barabar Hill caves. B for Bombay is the correct option. Long analysis, but you see how time it consumes to come up with each and every question. Now it is air breathing electricity system or thruster, sometimes mentioned in the news recently. It sucks in air molecules from atmosphere, reduces the weight of satellite significantly, and increases the stay of satellite in space. Very good. D for doctor is the option for this. So, it is a multidisciplinary, multi-institutional program under the control of National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research. We are referring to Indian Antarctic Program. We are trying to explore the hidden resources in Antarctic as well. Ministry of Earth Sciences and Ministry of Science and Technology or Government of India is involved. No, it is Ministry of Earth Sciences which is the part of it. It was first initiated in 1981 with first expedition to Antarctica. The first statement is wrong just because of the ministry. It has been mentioned wrongly. It is the Ministry of Earth Sciences. So second statement is correct. B for Bombay is the right option for it. Correct? 91. Achha, we have to see which is not correct. A for apple is the right. Second statement is correct. So you would also take care because in examination pressure you may not bubble it wrong. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding ice 7 which is seen in news recently. There is ice which you take. Ice cubes are there that we consume. It's one form of ice. Ice can be also transformed into another method for our consumption. So the first one which we have science is ice. It is ice 1, the one which we consume. Compressed it will become ice number 2, and this ice 2, it will give you the shape of a rhombus. It has been compressed. Further, this ice 3 will come and this will give you the shape of tetragonal. Ice 7 is hexagonal arrangement. Sorry, ice 1 is hexagonal. I have written it. I have done some homework on it. Then this comes the ice number 7. And this gives you cubic crystal arrangement. This is cubic crystal arrangement. And yes, it is 1.5 times denser than the common ice which we use for own consumptions, for our drinks or other thing, the double on rock something. It is 1.5 denser than the ice 1 which is common ice. 2 is this, 3, 4. With reference to the CBI, that is Central Bureau of Investigation, which of the following statement is or are correct? It was established on the recommendation of Santhan Committee 1954, very correct. Then it is statutory body and derives its powers from the Delhi Special Police Establishment 1946. Good. It comes under the administrative control of Ministry of Home Affairs. What we have to see? The right option over here is B for Bombay, because CBI derives its power from Delhi Special Police Establishment. Act 1946 and came into existence on the recommendation of Santhanam Committee in 1962 to 64. So after looking at Santhanam Committee, खुशी के मारे वो हम question कर देंगे bubble. No, it is not in 1954. The years have to be taken very carefully. So the first statement is wrong because of the year, and second statement is correct. So we will say that B for Bombay is the right option. It is not under the administrative control of Ministry of Home Affairs. Delhi Dialogue 2018 is premier annual event to discuss political security, economic and socio-cultural engagement between India and which among the following organizations? G20. With G20, one very common word which has been associated is Sherpa. Who is Sherpa? Sherpa is the one who represents the country in this global organization. Think, who is India's Sherpa? Two questions we have seen. It's like verbal question randomly coming to your mind for 94. What can be your question for this? It is for ASEAN. Let me see my question paper 94. I have also attempted the question paper for gauging the level, that what kind of paper is it. For 94, it is basically C, ASEAN. It is ASEAN. 95th. Consider the following statements regarding Simon Commission. Simon, go back. All the 7 members of the commission were Englishmen. Correct. Almost all the political parties, including Congress, decided to oppose commission as there was no Indian in the commission. Ho sakta hai. At Lahore, the students, they took out a large anti-Simon Commission demonstration on October 30, 1928 under the leadership of Motilal Nehru. 100% correct. The report of commission stated that the constitutional experiment with diarchy was unsuccessful and in its place it recommended establishment of autonomous government. गलत क्या है? सारे तो ठीक हैं. But statement number 3, if you see it cautiously, अगर 1928 तक देख के October 30 आपने question mark कर दिया तो ये statement गलत है. It is Lala Lajpat Rai, not Motilal Nehru. So third statement is wrong, right? So correct option for 95th will be B for Bombay. 1, 2 and 4. 3, it is wrong because it has to be Lala Lajpat Rai. With reference to non-performing assets in India, which of the following statement is correct? The share of NPAs in India is higher in contrast to China. Construction sector has the largest chunk of NPAs in India. The increase of percentage of NPAs has been recorded more in private sector banks in comparison to public sector banks. Nahi hai ye. Third statement is definitely wrong. What is NPA? NPA is basically an asset which is not working, non-performing asset. NPA is an asset which is not performing. Understand it in this manner. I am one person. This is one person. मैंने इस बंदे को लोन दिया. I lent out some money to this person and this person borrowed money from me and he said that I'll give you some interest for the money that I've borrowed. So that interest I'll be getting regularly. With this I'll be maintaining myself as an institution or as an individual who is paying, who is lending money, and then I'm also lending more money to other people because I'm getting interest and they're also giving me interest. So what is happening is I am establishing myself through these interest which I am getting. That means these are the people, those who are giving me some benefit. In case 2, what is happening, that they are the same people. I am the one, I gave them money, ये पैसे लेके गए, they borrowed money from me and then they say bye bye, हम नहीं आते. Now how will I manage my system? So now it is like I have generated the assets which are not performing till the time they are performing. When they were giving me something, they were performing assets, and once they have stopped giving me anything, they have turned themselves to the non-performing assets. This is a very basic understanding which I want you to have now. We will exceed to the advanced level very soon. But those assets which are not giving you anything, they will add on to your burden. आपने तो पैसे दे दिए. How will you recover it? So this question is all about it, and interestingly for this, the statement says that A for apple is the right option, because it is not the construction sector which is having the largest, or you can say, chunk of NPS. It is basically the basic metals and cement industry. Leprosy is a viral infection. Big no, it is a bacterial infection. We have seen the viral infection, Japanese encephalitis and dengue. India is home to largest number of leprosy patients. That's very true. In 2005, India achieved the goal of elimination of leprosy, defined as less than 1 case per 10,000 population. Very factual. 2 and 3 option is correct. So for 97th, D for doctor is the right option. Consider the following statements regarding official language of India under the Constitution that is there. Hindi, written in Devanagari script, is to be the official language of union and states, not for states. Provisions related to official language can be amended by simple majority, not by special. Official language of a state cannot be adopted from languages out of 8th schedule of the Constitution. We can do that. Use of Hindi in Supreme Court has been effected as per the provisions enacted by the Parliament. Use of Hindi in the Supreme Court has been effected? No. So D for doctor is the option. None of the options are correct about it. It is D. 98th. Second last question. World's largest solar park. What do you mean by world's largest solar park? So, the world's largest solar park set up at Pavagada in Andhra Pradesh. Is it in Andhra Pradesh? Is it in Kerala? Or is it in Karnataka? The 2000 megawatt park has been named as Shakti Sthal. Shakti तो होगी, ऊर्जा है वहाँ पे sunlight है, शक्ति तो होगी. But क्या? The 2000 megawatt, what has been mentioned, is right or wrong. So the world's largest solar park is set up at Pavagada in Andhra Pradesh. It has been basically set up where? In Pavagada in Karnataka's Tumakuru district. Pronunciation may vary, right? So it is in Karnataka, not in Andhra Pradesh. And the second statement, that it is Shakti Sthal that spans across 13,000 acres spread over 5 villages and is a benchmark in the unique people's participation in power model put on ground. Which of the statement has been correct? 2000 megawatt. B statement is 100% correct. So B for Bombay is the right option. Financial stability report. This report is very important, and when you will get on to your mains. Financial stability report, very important, is by RBI, Reserve Bank of India of your own country. In this report, it discusses complete, and it gives you an overview of Indian economy, and also it gives a sort of roadmap or new vistas, what to do ahead, where we were missing, and what things we have taken forward. Financial stability report has been widely discussed. It's been analyzed by the critiques, and it's also been discussed in the newspapers. Now, which newspaper you should read? You should read those newspapers which have less of political masala. It has less content with the entertainment part, and it is more very close to your prelims. The Hindu newspaper, it is more close to your prelims and mains, as well as your Indian Express newspaper. These two newspapers, they are more or less oriented on the basis of information, and UPSC is all about information. The more information you have, and you know how to articulate it, you know how to talk about it, express yourself. So all three stages of prelims, mains and interview, it is basically the testing of your knowledge, but through different and various methods. So financial stability report is by Reserve Bank of India. If you encounter any problem, you can send your mail at sherry.singh@careerlauncher.com. Simply you have to go there and I'll be available if you find any doubt. Right? So guys, that's all for the day. Thank you. I hope we have enjoyed the session. The session was long, but it has to be because we cannot skip on the many parts. So thank you. Good luck and gird up yourself for your mock number 2. Thank you.